Hi everyone, welcome to the Bioinformatics Coach channel. In today's video, I'm going to give you some tips that you can use to ask questions in bioinformatics forums and to experts. Now let's get started. Now what you should note is that the experts that you are going to ask the questions are very busy, and so the last thing you want is to ask the question in such a way that they will struggle to understand you, or they will find it difficult to get what you want and then give you the appropriate answer. So what's going to happen is that some may choose to ignore the question because they will not have time to think for you in that sense and then understand what you want. And sometimes you can have the answers, but the answers may be what you want or what you don't want. And in some cases, you can have the answers, but the answers may end up confusing because you have different answers coming in because different people will interpret it differently. All right. And so what you want to do is to be clear. All right. So you should be clear. You should go straight to the point. You should make sure the question is asked in a clear manner, and then you get the answer. Now let's take this example. Let's say you have whole exome sequence data taken from cancer patients, and you'd like to identify variants from these samples. Now, if you ask the question this way, how can I identify variants, or how can I perform variant calling? All right. This question is vague. I mean, if you are going to call variants or if you are going to perform variant calling, are you interested in the steps? Are you interested in the tools? Or what organism are you dealing with? Are you dealing with bacterial genomes? Are you dealing with human samples? Or even if it's human samples, do you have just the tumor samples or tumor and then match normal? Or they are samples taken from patients suffering from a different disease. So there are lots of questions that can be asked here. All right. So the answers you get will depend on how the reader interprets your questions. All right. And so what you want to do is to be clear. So you can ask this question. For example, you can ask it this way. I have this type of data. Let's say a whole exome sequence or whatever. Maybe these are samples taken from cancer patients, and I have match number, and I would like to identify variants from these samples. Now it becomes clear because you have described the data, you know what you want to achieve at the end of the day, and then you have made it clear. And so the experts can come in and then answer for you. So someone can just say, to identify variants from tumor samples, you need to have your sequence data, which you have already. You need to perform quality control. You need to perform retrimming and filtering where necessary. You need to map your rows to a reference sequence. You need to remove duplicates. You need to call the variants. And if you are calling the variants, you can use tools like VARScan or METEC2, which is part of the GATK bundle. All right. So now it becomes refined. All right. Some tool go ahead to tell you after doing this, you need to also do post-VCF processing. So now you get a refined answer which makes it clear because you ask the question in such a way that everyone understands what you want. And so they can just chip in and then give you the appropriate answer or answers. All right, so this is how we do it. Another thing you should also notice that if you are going to ask the question, you should have made the attempt to solve the problem yourself. So you can do this by going online and checking the solutions available. Now, you don't need to necessarily find a solution, but just making the attempt is what is important, because when you make the attempt, you will definitely come across solutions, possible solutions, and so you at least have an idea of how things work. And so when you are asking the experts, you can tell them, this is what you want to achieve, and then I tried this software, or I did this. However, I struggled to understand the process, or I did not get the result that I want. So you want advice or you want to seek clarification. Now the expert will become happy because you have made the attempt to solve the problem, and so they can add up to it. All right. So if let's say it's a problem with a tool or software, and then you indicate the options you used, then they can tell you that this option is appropriate for this organism, or let's say this option is not good in this situation, or this option is good when you have this number of samples, etc. So do it this way or do it this way. So now it becomes easier because you have made the attempts, so you know how things work, and so they give you just a point will be enough to understand or figure it out and then perform your analysis. So these are some of the things that you should factor in when you are going to ask questions to experts. All right. So now that you are done with this, I would also like you to check this video, which shows or tells you the top 4 software that I recommend for bioinformatics analysis.